Hi, I'm your State Representative Annette Glenn. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Hometown Heroes. Each episode of Hometown Heroes will feature community leaders, local nonprofits, and others who make a significant positive impact in the 98th District. The place we call home has so much to be proud of. I hope you enjoy learning from our hometown heroes. As always, if you ever have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact my office. Enjoy the show.
Hello, I'm John Perry, and I'm joined by Representative Annette Glenn. And Representative, we are here today to talk about another one of Midland's hometown heroes.
This week, I'm excited to have Sharon Mortensen here with us. Sharon has been serving Midland nonprofits for over 20 years. She's currently the president and CEO of Midland Community Foundation and doing all kinds of wonderful things around Midland and a couple other counties. Sharon, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. Excited to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
We're glad to have you here. Could you tell us a little bit about the foundation and its history?
Certainly. Well, Midland Area Community Foundation was started in 1973. And when most people hear the word foundation, they might think in today's world, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, or back in the day, maybe the Rockefeller Foundation. But community foundations were started about 100 years ago with the idea that everyday people could be philanthropists. And by putting their money together and investing, they could engage in philanthropy and help to transform their communities. So Midland Area Community Foundation was started for that reason. So we had some wonderful family foundations in our community that still, of course, serve our community in great ways today. But they said, let's provide a way that, again, all the folks in our community could give and could invest in our community and really help to make a difference. So the Community Foundation was formed at that point in time, and it started with, of course, just a very little in assets, and we've grown to now over 100 million in assets where we can give back in great ways to our community. And it was started by some famous names around the community, Carl Gerstacker being one of them. He was very instrumental in the founding of Midland Area Community Foundation, and then Esther Gerstacker served as board chair for many years. So we've got some great rich heritage among those that helped to start the Community Foundation.
That is wonderful background. Projects, can you tell us some of the recent projects you guys have been involved in?
Sure. Well, we've been involved with, now let me tell you about, if you don't mind, I want to go back a little bit in history, because probably the first project that really put the Community Foundation on the map was the Tridge. Now I don't know if you know the Tridge or not, but that's our three-legged pedestrian bridge in Midland. It is famous. It's very famous. In fact, if you look up Midland, Michigan, it's probably the first image that will pop up on the internet. So that was probably the first project in which we engaged that school children collected pennies to help fund it. Individuals gave money, and of course our family foundations were very generous in building this bridge. So that was one of the first projects we engaged in where people went, wow, this really works. This community foundation model really works. And today when I think about some of the projects in which we're engaged, I know recently we helped with the play areas at Central Park Elementary. Actually, we call them learning environments. So we were involved with that project. We're looking forward to being involved with another project that's about to start in our community, and that's a miracle field that's being built in Central Park. So that's a new project that I know many funders will be involved with in our community as well. So that's an exciting project. We also work across our community. There are really 4 focus areas that we work in. And when you think about what makes a vibrant community, what really makes a great community where people are cared for, where we have there's energy and excitement and people are really attached to their community, there are 4 areas that we give to. And one is building our livelihood, because without a rich business environment, we're not going to have what we need as a community. Another is developing our talent. So how do we help make sure that young people are educated from the very early years, really throughout their lifespan? Another is enriching our community. So when we think about environmental assets, arts, culture, recreation, entertainment, and so that's another important area. And then another is caring for our people. So how do we make sure that health and those basic human service needs are met? So those are, we look to give give, and that's not a specific project, but we look to give across those areas, and we have varying projects that we're involved in each of those areas, from working with some mental health work in our community to our cultural awareness coalition, so our violence prevention work that we do in the schools. So those are all projects that flow out of those different areas.
So the Tridge, there was a lot going on with the Tridge recently.
Yes.
Was the foundation involved with that?
We were, although we need to give the Gerstacker Foundation really credit for that, because they helped to fund, because our Tridge needed to be basically redone, which we have to do, as we know, with any kind of bridge from time to time. So they very generously gave to that. Really, they gave almost $2 million. We helped to hold a fund where the monies came through. We had some monies as well from a maintenance fund we have for the Tridge. So we were a part of that project, but we need to give them the greatest credit for that, for their incredible investment, and really our facelift for our Tridge, which is beautiful now. It always has been, but it's fresh and new.
It was fun to be at the rededication, and I remember there were some people there who were little kids. They sang in a choir, and they had kept the T-shirts from the project when they initially dedicated the Tridge. How many years ago was that?
Oh golly, the initial dedication of the Tridge. It was in the early '80s, so yes, so it's been a while. But they had some of the reproductions of the original Tridge Troll T-shirts.
Yes,
vintage Tridge Troll T-shirts. Yes,
and at least one who had kept it all of these years,
yes.
Which was fun.
Yeah, which was very fun. It was very fun.
What other projects are you involved in currently? I know there were some scholarships.
Right, and we recently just, in fact, we're in the process right now of getting our scholarship award letters out. So we'll award about $750,000 in scholarships to help students continue their education. So that's a really important thing for us, because we know that education is so critical, and post-secondary education and raising the levels of, the percentage of individuals in our community with post-secondary education is important. So we're involved in that. And actually another project that relates somewhat to that is we have a career and college access network in Midland County, and we're looking to make sure that those who are economically disadvantaged or first generation students, meaning those who do not have a parent that has done any post-secondary education, that they go on to pursue post-secondary education and complete that. So that's a project we're very interested in, to make sure that our scholarships help all students, but we make special efforts for students that are maybe less likely to pursue post-secondary education.
A lot of people that you bless through those scholarships.
Definitely.
So individuals, if somebody was in town or even maybe outside of town, what are ways they can get involved?
Sure, there are numerous ways. One is volunteer, and speaking of scholarships, we need hundreds of scholarship reviewers. I think, did you end up serving this one for us this year?
I did.
Yes. So we need hundreds of people to do that every year, to read those scholarship applications and make selections from the students that apply. So that's one way to volunteer. We also have a big festival we do every summer called River Days. We need volunteers to help with that. The Santa House is actually under the Community Foundation, so we recruit volunteers to serve as elves. You don't have to wear a costume. But as elves at the Santa House, so helping at the Santa House. So one way to get involved is just to volunteer. Another way to get involved is to give to the Community Foundation, because again, as a community foundation, it's everyone's gifts of any amount, whether it's $10, or thousands of dollars, but put together. So anyone that gives a donation of any amount is a member of the Community Foundation, the way we were chartered. And so they can be a voting member, vote at our annual meeting, be involved in a variety of other committees that require you to be a donor or a member of the Community Foundation. And individuals that are looking to maybe give back in a long-term way to the community could set up a fund that would be a lasting legacy to them for really generations to come, that could be set up, whether it's a scholarship, whether it's a fund that benefits a particular area of interest in the community, they could set up a fund. So there really are lots of ways from volunteering, and we always welcome people. Stop by our offices, let us share with you what we're doing, and let's see what you're interested in and ways that you can engage with the Community Foundation.
So it looks like you've got options if somebody's got time for a one-time project for a few weeks, or if they're looking for something they could be permanently involved in on an ongoing basis, either financially or time-wise.
Absolutely, and again, some of our committees that are ongoing committees, as you mentioned, our Cultural Awareness Coalition. Someone that's very passionate about that work could be involved in that, or violence prevention. So River Days, if they like to help with that. So there are many ways that people could even do an ongoing committee where they come to a monthly meeting and do some activities between those meetings.
Well, and I like that you've got some for the summer and some for the winter. You can kind of divide up your time based on what's working for you as well.
Absolutely.
So how are you able to complete all of these projects and still continue to grow? I don't think I knew how large the foundation had gotten.
Right, and that's a great question. One of the ways that we do that is the power of endowment, because community foundations really across this state and across the country were built on the power of endowment. For good forever is a motto that we often use to describe the work that we do. So we want our assets to continue in perpetuity. So our funds are endowed, so they continue to grow year after year, and the earnings from that are what we invest back into our community. So that's the way we're able to keep growing from really, $50,000 when we started to over $100 million, is through the growth and the power of endowment. So that's one way we're able to do it. And honestly, we have an incredible community. And I know everybody loves their community, and I love our community. But we have an incredible community of people that are givers, that give their time, that give their treasure. That do invest money year after year, knowing it's going to keep growing and keep giving back. So that's certainly one way that we're able to do it, is just people that are givers, whether with their time or their treasure.
It sounds as though community is very much the operative word.
Yes, and that's a great point, because we really are a place-based foundation. We were set up by people that loved this area, and again, there are community foundations serving all of our counties in the state of Michigan. Every county is represented by a community foundation. So there were people that loved their community and wanted to see in perpetuity resources there to help do whatever may be needed. And I don't know that people that started us 45 years ago would envision now some of the things that we need today. I don't know that they would have envisioned, and I'm not sure we envision in 50 years what is our community going to need, but the Community Foundation will be there. Those assets will continue to grow, and there'll be wonderful people that are volunteering their time or serving as staff that are looking at the needs of the community and how to best invest these dollars to really do transformation. Because when you think about philanthropy, I know it means love of fellow man, but when you think about philanthropy, we're trying to transform, we're trying to change things, we're trying to get things to be even better than what we have now. And we have a great community now, but how can we be better, and how can we continue to advance with what's needed? So I think community foundations will continue to be there to help communities across really our state and across our country do that.
So do you think the vision statement for the Community Foundation over the 45 years has changed?
I think the part that remains the same, people are always playing with vision statements,
yes,
right?
Yes.
They always want to wordsmith, but really the heart of what it's been, that for good forever, I think that stays. And when you look at what are we here to do to enrich and improve quality of life, that stays. So the heart of what we do remains year after year. The way we might phrase it in our vision statement may change slightly, but it really is people that love their community and that want to see their community thrive. They want to see individuals thrive. That's what community foundations, I think, that's always been a part of who we are and will continue to be.
So Sharon, you've mentioned some committees that the foundation has. Could you share some more about those committees and what their purposes are?
Certainly. Well, certainly our Board of Trustees is our governing body, so that's one group that we have. We have a grants committee, and they look at how do we best distribute the dollars we've been entrusted with, and how do we make sure that we follow donors' intent and distribute to things that are most meaningful in our community. And then we have also, I mentioned, our Cultural Awareness Coalition, and that's a group of people that want to promote diversity and inclusion and make sure that we appreciate each individual that's a part of our community, and we recognize that. Our Violence Prevention Partnership is meant to make sure that we have respect in our schools, that our young people have the resources and the help they need so that everyone can really, again, I guess I come back to that word thrive, which I think is an important word, but that they can thrive, and so that we can make sure that bullying isn't a part of our culture, but rather respect and appreciation for each individual and who they are as a part of that. So that certainly is another committee. We have a committee that plans river days. So those that are party planners that enjoy getting involved in that, and that's a great celebration that we have the first weekend in August that we've combined with the Balloon Festival. So it's really two great things going on all together down in the Tridge area there in Midland. So that's another committee. We have a committee that works on our courthouse lighting and our Santa house. So if you're all about all things holiday themed, that would be a great committee to be a part of. So those are a sampling of some of our committees and what we have available. If you go to our website, you'll see many more there. But again, we encourage people, pick up the phone. Let's stop in, let's talk, check out social media, shoot us some questions, but we'd love to have a conversation with you and see what is it that you're interested in, how would you like to get involved and give back to your community.
Would you like to share the website and phone number with our audience?
Oh, certainly, absolutely. So www.midlandfoundation.org. So it's midlandfoundation.org, and go online, take a look, and see. And of course, you can find us on all of whatever your favorite social media is. So Instagram, Facebook, you can find us there and get some more information. And our phone number is 989-839-9661. So we welcome people reaching out and connecting with us. And one thing unique about a community foundation is people come in with ideas. And so we really are, in many respects, a public foundation. So people come to us and say, I've got an idea. How did we get the Santa house? I mean, somebody came in with an idea saying, I really think this would be a great asset to have in Midland. So that's how we ended up, eventually with the Santa house that we have today. So people come in with ideas and tell us what are their thoughts on what can make a great community, and then we look and see, is this something that could work? Is this something that would fit? So we're open to ideas, and we want to hear what people have to say.
And Representative Glenn, I was thinking we've talked about the importance of quality of life in a community, and it would seem to me that so much of what you're talking about here does relate to that quality of life.
Absolutely, it definitely does. Mm-hmm.
Sharon, you do a marvelous job. Any idea how many nonprofits you work with?
Oh goodness, yeah, that's a great question. I would say I know we're coming up on Give Local Midland, which is our one-day giving event,
Yes.
a 24-hour giving event, coming up on May 7th, and I know we have over 50 nonprofit endowment funds that are part of that because we're raising money for their endowment funds for that long-term sustainability for the future, and that's not every nonprofit.
No.
So I would say, easily, I wouldn't be surprised if we started to add up and we had 100 organizations that we've worked with and thousands of individuals, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. So Giving Day, May 7th, they can go, obviously social media, but can they go to your website and find those as well?
They can, and we actually have a separate website for that day. It's called givelocalmidland.org. So givelocalmidland.org. You can go online. You can make a gift to you could give to one or to a variety of these nonprofit endowment funds. And again, we want to make sure the message is clear that this is for their endowment. This is for long-term sustainability. Because one of the things we've heard from our nonprofits is 364 days a year, they're out raising operational dollars. One day a year, they're looking at, let's build for the future. Let's earn some dollars that are going to be with us and help us have long-term sustainability for the future. So yes, our Giving Day, givelocalmidland.org, and it's really quite fun. There's a leaderboard, there are little competitions, various things that go on. So it's a very good-natured competition around all of our nonprofits working to raise dollars.
And that's newer, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is our 6th year doing it, and in the first 5 years, we've raised over $1 million for nonprofit endowment funds. So it's been very successful, and we look forward to a great day this year as well.
I know I'm looking forward to participating. Last year was my first year, just kind of testing the waters to see how that worked
Well,
out.
thank you.
I don't think I realized it went to endowments. I really appreciate the aspect of giving them an endowment, some sustainability, so they can focus more on their work and less on the fundraising.
Right, right. And that's our hope as it grows in the future, that will enable them to spend less time fundraising, that day versus having that long-term sustainability to help support them.
You mentioned a project I haven't heard about, or maybe I don't remember hearing about it, Miracle.
Oh, that's a brand new one.
Okay.
So, yes. So that was, sometimes projects catch people's eye and it just takes off. So the City of Midland in Central Park, they've looked at doing a miracle field. So they had a discussion about this at the Park and Recreation Commission meeting, and it was picked up and was suddenly, it was on TV, it was on the radio, so it really got off to a fast start. And I know that some of our wonderful family foundations, one in particular, has reached out to the city with great interest in supporting that. And that is an interesting concept for individuals that have some physical limitations. It is a baseball, softball field that they can use, specially designed. And there are some other places around the country, and then they do programming around it, but it's a wonderful asset. So it's an exciting idea. The whole project would be about 1.6 million. The field itself is about 1 million of that, and then some of the other things that would need to go around it, concessions, restrooms, and so on, would add up to the remainder of the cost of that project. But it seems like that's off to an amazing start. And I think that will be an exciting thing that hopefully, if all goes as the city is hoping, that in 2020 they'll be able to play ball on the Miracle Field for individuals with some special needs. So very exciting.
That is very exciting. Any new projects besides that have been picked up unexpectedly?
Well, that's the big one that was immediately picked up. Where I know there's a master plan right now for Grove Park in the City of Midland, which is in that Midtown area that's really been developing, and it's exciting to see what's going on there. So they have a new master plan, so we'll see where that goes. I know our Rotary Club, the Midland Rotary Club, is interested in being involved with that, so we'll see where that goes, and see where our role may be to get involved. And again, we're here to assist with projects in whatever way is most helpful. So sometimes, somebody will come to us and say, can you help us? And we're happy to do that. So we'll see where that goes. But the Miracle Field is definitely, I think, on the fast track.
So it sounds like maybe when you get to work in the morning, that at the end of the day, maybe what you thought was going to happen isn't exactly how your day went in positive ways.
Right, probably a bit like yours too. Yes. Maybe yours as well. But so definitely, because you never know what the day will bring. And certainly people are coming in. I mean, before I headed down to Lansing today, I had some potential donors come in that are interested in doing some giving and looking at the future. So you never quite know what all you'll face that day, but it's so exciting to be involved with an organization that really is all about enriching and improving quality of life and helping to make sure that we have a community where everyone has an opportunity to thrive and whatever those needs may be. So yeah, it's an exciting job.
And wonderful staff.
We have a great team, and honestly, that makes all the difference, as you know. I mean, you're only as strong as your team, and we have an amazing team, our staff, and then really as I look at our board and all of our volunteers, we have an amazing group.
Sharon, I understand there's a new scholarship, Midland Believes.
Yes, and this is a scholarship that really is connected with our Career and College Access Network, so it's for first-generation economically disadvantaged youth. It's one they can receive for 2 years, so renewable, and it's meant to help them through those first 2 years, but it's not just the money, it's a mentor as well. And I know we had a young woman speak at our event this fall, our Ripple Effect, and she talked about, she thought college probably was not going to be for her, but her high school counselor had recommended her for this Midland Believes scholarship. She said when she got that letter in the mail, she realized, I actually can do this. I can do this. Somebody believes in me, which is why we called it that name, and is willing to support me. I can do this. And then she had a mentor that was someone that was a couple years ahead of her in college, that met with her, that helped her, that supported her, and she's now in her second year. And the difference that scholarship made to her, it was for her the fact that someone does believe in me and I can do this, even though no one in my family has done this, even though I have a single mom who doesn't have a lot of resources, I can do this. And so it's exciting to see a scholarship like that making a difference for this, you know, not just this student, but other students, that it really makes this a possibility for them.
I think maybe my favorite part of that program is going to be the mentor. I know getting money and they believe is such an uplift, but then to have somebody help you walk through that tough day when that assignment was a little more challenging than you expected, when you're really homesick, those challenges to have the mentor walk through, I would think makes it very instrumental in success.
You're right. That makes all the difference, having somebody right there, because that, when you're ready to give up and someone says you can do this and here's what you need to do, that makes all the difference.
Sharon, I know the foundation's involved with the rail trail. Let's tell John about that.
Yeah, the rail trail is an incredible asset. It starts down by the Farmers Market Tridge area and goes, goodness, all the way outside Midland County up to Clare and beyond. So the Pierre Marquette Rail Trail was, again, one of those great Community Foundation projects when rail trails were just beginning, and it was supported by the community as a whole, by our family foundations, corporate foundations. And so we have, and it's plowed, there's 3 miles of it plowed every winter from the Tridge area up to Dublin Road. So there's a clear pathway for people that want to run or walk in the wintertime, but a great community asset. And again, one of those wonderful community foundation with support from our family foundations, really importantly from our family foundations, corporate foundations, and individuals in the community.
Certainly one that we've used, as I was just sharing with you. 4 of our boys did large parts of their bicycling merit badge on there, so I've spent at least 50 miles per each of those 4 boys just on those cases.
Yes, it's a great place to be able to enjoy, and honestly, not only do our residents enjoy it, but we have people from around the state that come and enjoy the rail trail.
John, you've heard us talking about the Santa House,
Right.
but not being from Midland, I'll bet you're not sure what we're talking.
I do not actually know a whole lot about the Santa House.
I spent years taking my kids to the Santa House. Sharon, would you like to share with John?
Certainly. Well, the Santa House came about because of a donor that thought it would be wonderful to offer that opportunity for kids to come in. And I've got to tell you, one of the things I think is wonderful about the Santa House is it's a great equalizer. There's no cost to go in. You bring your own camera if you want to take a photo. There's no pressure on it. It's just come and enjoy. And every child, regardless of their background, gets a moment with Santa, just to have a conversation with Santa, to share whatever they want to share. And sometimes kids share some very, very personal things. You know, Santa, can you help my mom's cancer go away? And you know, the Santas that we have are trained to know how to answer that question in a way that really is respectful to the child and meaningful. But every child, regardless of their background or their status in life, gets this special moment to visit with Santa. And I think that's wonderful. And then the house itself is pretty spectacular.
Magical.
Yes, it's pretty spectacular. So it's an opportunity for kids to come and their families and really just enjoy the joy of the season. And there are more working parts in that Santa house, more things moving, and it's an amazing place to see. It really is. But again, a wonderful community asset that's free to anyone, and it's because of a fund that we have at the Community Foundation that helps to support that.
I took my kids there for many years, and I always appreciated the questions and the way they talked to the kids, like you mentioned. They would ask if they were kind to their siblings, if they'd been obedient, how they were doing with their homework, which was a little different than what do you want for Christmas this year. So they were a tremendous asset and backup for parents. John, you'll have to come visit us.
Oh, I have to go there sometime.
My teenagers even enjoyed it.
So Sharon, Representative Annette Glenn, thank you both very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
the
Sharon.
opportunity. Appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us.